Hey everyone, Jimmy Kimmel here, or as my accountant calls me, not even close, pal. We're diving into a topic that's been debated more than the existence of my hairline. Why are Jewish people so good with money? Now, before anyone gets their yarmulke in a twist, this is all in good fun. We're just here to explore some of the stereotypes and maybe, just maybe, learn a thing or two about shekels along the way. So, whether you're a financial whiz or you think a Roth IRA is a new kind of bagel, buckle up. We're about to break down 15 hilarious reasons why Jewish people are richer than, well, you know. And hey, if you're Jewish and watching this, you already know what I'm talking about. You're probably thinking, finally, someone's acknowledging our secret. Just kidding, it's not a secret. It's more like a well-known fact whispered in hushed tones at country clubs we can't get into. But hey, we can laugh about it, right? Right? Okay, moving on. Let's be honest, folks. Jewish people are to saving money what Guillermo is to tequila. They're practically synonymous. You think those ancient Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years without learning a thing or two about budgeting? Please. They invented the concept of early bird special. They could stretch a single mana ration further than a Kardashian marriage. And don't even get me started on their coupon game. They don't just clip coupons, they perform surgery on them, extracting every last cent of savings. You know those extreme couponers you see on TV? Yeah, they're all undercover rabbis. I once saw a Jewish grandmother haggle a street vendor down to a nickel for a pretzel. A nickel! And you know what? She still had the nerve to ask for a free mustard packet. That's dedication, people. That's commitment. Well, it's kind of terrifying, to be honest. Look, I'm not saying all Jewish people are frugal, but let's just say they're very aware of the value of a dollar. Actually, scratch that. They're aware of the value of a quarter, a dime, and yes, even a penny. You know those take a penny, leave a penny trays at convenience stores? Yeah, those are basically empty donation bins for Jewish people. They see opportunity where others see loose change. And you know what? It works. They say the secret to wealth is not spending money you don't have to. Well, Jewish people have taken that to heart, and then some. They've got financial responsibility tattooed on their, well, maybe not tattooed, but you get the idea. They're playing 4D chess while the rest of us are struggling with checkers. And by checkers, I mean trying to figure out how to afford both avocado toast and rent this month. So, the next time you see someone meticulously counting out their change at the grocery store, don't judge. They're not being cheap, they're being financially savvy. They're living proof that slow and steady wins the race to the bank. Okay, let's talk about community support because Jewish people have got that down to a science. They're like the Avengers of financial success. Except instead of superpowers, they have shared recipes for matzo ball soup and a deep-seated understanding of compound interest. From a young age, they're taught the importance of tzedakah, which is Hebrew for charity. And I'm not talking about tossing a few coins in a wishing well here. We're talking serious philanthropy, folks. They're donating to synagogues, supporting Jewish-owned businesses, and investing in each other's futures. It's like a never-ending cycle of financial karma, and frankly, it's kind of beautiful. They understand that a rising tide lifts all boats, especially if those boats are filled with delicious bagels and lox. And you know what? It creates a sense of community and shared success that's truly inspiring. They're not just looking out for themselves, they're looking out for each other. Some might say this level of community support is intense. But who are we to judge? It's clearly working for them. They've created a system where everyone has a stake in each other's success. Plus, it makes for some epic bar mitzvah parties. Ever seen a 13-year-old get a Lexus? It's like Crazy Rich Asians, but with more gefilte fish. Alright, reason number 3 why Jewish people are richer: education. These guys are practically born with a library card in one hand and a tiny calculator in the other. You ever notice how many Jewish Nobel Prize winners there are? And I'm not just talking about the Peace Prize, I mean the ones that come with a big old check. They say studying the Talmud is like mental gymnastics. All that logic and problem solving must be why they're so good at spotting a good investment. They're like the chess masters of the stock market. Speaking of, anyone got a good stock tip? Asking for a friend? Next up, we've got that entrepreneurial spirit. Jewish people have been making deals since, well, let's just say they practically invented the handshake. From Hollywood to Silicon Valley, they've got that Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to, you guessed it, more money. They call Israel Startup Nation for a reason, folks. They've got more startups per capita than anywhere else in the world. It's like the whole country is one big episode of Shark Tank, except with better snacks. Falafel, hummus. I could really go for a good niche right now. Speaking of deals, let's talk about negotiation skills. Jewish people are legendary negotiators. They could talk a cat out of its tuna and a dog out of its bone, and then they'd probably sell them back to you for a profit. I once tried to haggle with a Jewish lady over a rug at a flea market. Let's just say I learned two things that day. 1, never underestimate a nice Jewish lady with a twinkle in her eye. And 2, I paid way too much for that rug. All right, let's talk about investment strategies. You ever notice how many Jewish people are in finance? It's like they see Wall Street, and instead of bulls and bears, they see Manischewitz and bagels. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. In fact, I kind of want in on the secret. I bet they have a whole secret handshake and everything. Like, hey, Steve, what's the good word on the stock market today? Oh yeah, buy low on gefilte fish. Got it. Speaking of investments, let's not forget about diamonds. Now, I'm not saying all Jewish people are walking around with pockets full of diamonds. Although, have you ever checked? But there's a reason why diamonds are often associated with, well, it's a cultural thing, a tradition of investing in tangible assets. And hey, I can't argue with that. Diamonds are shiny, sparkly, and they don't expire. Plus, you can't really argue with results. If their investment portfolio is sparkling brighter than a Hanukkah menorah, they're clearly doing something right. So next time you're at a bar mitzvah, keep your eyes peeled. You might just learn a thing or two about investing from the guy in the corner with the dazzling cufflinks. Let's be real. Nobody works harder than a Jewish mother trying to get their kid into a good college. It's like their own personal Olympics, and the gold medal is a scholarship to Harvard. And don't even get me started on Jewish guilt. It's like a superpower that compels them to work tirelessly, always striving for success. It's like, you're gonna sit there and watch TV when there's work to be done? You're killing your bubby, that's what you're doing. But in all seriousness, there's a deep-seated work ethic ingrained in Jewish culture. It's about taking pride in your work, no matter what it is. Whether it's being a doctor, a lawyer, or the best darn bagel maker this side of the Mississippi. Now I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, you're telling me they don't take a break? Not even for a bagel and schmear? Look, I never said they were perfect. But let's just say that relaxation isn't exactly their forte. They're more likely to spend their downtime networking, reading, or planning their next business venture. Which, let's be honest, is probably why they're so successful in the first place. It's like they have this internal motor that just doesn't quit. They're always on the go, always hustling, always looking for the next opportunity. It's kind of inspiring, actually, so next time you're feeling lazy, just think of your average Jewish entrepreneur. They're out there crushing it, day in and day out. It might make you want to get off the couch and, I don't know, invent an app or something. Family is everything in Jewish culture. And when I say everything, I mean everything. It's like one big, happy, slightly chaotic support system. From a young age, Jewish kids are taught the importance of family, tradition, and of course, guilt-free guilt trips. It's all about sticking together, supporting each other, and making sure everyone gets their fair share of the matzo ball soup. And let's not forget about those family dinners. They're legendary. I'm talking about tables overflowing with food, enough to feed a small army. It's a beautiful thing, really. But it's not just about the food. These gatherings are also a chance to catch up, share stories, and offer unsolicited advice. Because in a Jewish family, everyone's an expert on everything. And if you happen to be single, forget about it. You'll be bombarded with questions about your love life faster than you can say Lasham. It's like a matchmaking frenzy, disguised as a casual get-together. But hey, it's all out of love. They just want what's best for you, even if it means setting you up with their neighbor's second cousin who's a dentist. Because let's be real, a nice Jewish dentist is considered a pretty good catch. So, the next time you're invited to a Jewish family gathering, embrace the chaos. Enjoy the food, the company, and the constant barrage of questions. Just try not to spill any Manischewitz on your shirt. All right, let's talk risk management. Now, I'm not saying Jewish people are afraid of a little risk, but they're also not going to bet the farm on a three-legged camel in a camel race. They're more like, let's diversify. A little real estate here, some stocks there, maybe a bagel shop on the side. You know, just in case the camel thing doesn't pan out. It's like my Aunt Sylvia always said, never keep all your matzah balls in one soup bowl. Wise words, Aunt Sylvia. Wise words. I tried explaining this to my buddy Todd, who put all his money into a company that makes edible socks. He said it was a sure thing. See, Jewish people, they've got this whole risk management thing down to a science. They're not afraid to take calculated risks, but they're also not going to jump out of a plane without a parachute, unless that parachute is made of money. They're like, yeah, I'll try that new deli, but I'm bringing a backup bagel just in case. Can you blame them? Bagels are delicious. It's all about finding that sweet spot, you know, taking enough risk to make things interesting, but not so much that you end up sleeping on your cousin's pull-out couch. Trust me, I've been there. It's not a good look, especially when you're my age. Adaptability. Now that's a fancy word for being able to roll with the punches. And let me tell you, Jewish people have been rolling with punches for centuries. It's practically an Olympic sport at this point. They've seen it all, done it all, and probably got a t-shirt somewhere commemorating the whole experience. They're like, oh, you exiled us from your country? No worries. We'll start our own successful businesses in yours. The point is, Jewish people are masters of adaptation. They can thrive anywhere, in any situation. You put them in a desert, they'll open a sunscreen factory. You put them in a blizzard, they'll invent waterproof mittens. You put them on a reality TV show, they'll negotiate their way to the top and then get their own spin-off. It's kind of inspiring when you think about it. It's like the ultimate survival guide. Be resourceful, be adaptable, and always have a good sense of humor, and maybe a good lawyer on speed dial. All right, let's talk about cultural values. Now, I'm not saying all Jewish people are doctors, lawyers, and Nobel Prize winners. Some of them are even art majors. Can you believe it? But seriously, education is huge in Jewish culture. It's like the main course at every family gathering. You walk in, and instead of asking, "How are you?" they're like, "So, what are you studying these days?" And don't even get me started on the guilt trip if you're not at the top of your class. A B plus? You call that a B plus? I knew Einstein, and let me tell you, he would be ashamed. But it's not just about book smarts, folks. Jewish culture also emphasizes things like charity and giving back to the community. They call it tzedakah, and it's kind of a big deal. It's like, they believe in making money, sure, but they also believe in sharing the wealth. You know, helping those in need, supporting important causes, and maybe buying a round of drinks for everyone at the synagogue every now and then. Hey, even charitable giving can be fun, right? It's all about finding the joy in everything, even in taxes. Okay, maybe not taxes. All right, let's talk networking. Jewish people, they're like the social butterflies of the finance world. They flutter from one Fortune 500 company to another, pollinating everyone with their brilliant ideas. You know how everyone says it's not what you know, it's who you know? Well, Jewish people took that to heart. And then they probably negotiated a better deal on it. They say it's 6 degrees of separation to Kevin Bacon. But to a Jewish person, it's probably like 2. And one of them is their cousin, who's a lawyer. And not just any lawyer, a lawyer who can get you out of a parking ticket on Yom Kippur. They say you shouldn't talk business at the dinner table. But what if the dinner table is at a synagogue fundraiser? Think about it. You're breaking bread, sharing laughs, and maybe sealing a multi-million-dollar deal before dessert. It's like the world's most productive potluck. And you know they're masters at the art of the schmooze. They could charm the yarmulke off a rabbi, and then probably sell it back to him at a profit. Hey, I'm not saying it's all about business, but if you're looking to climb the corporate ladder, you might want to start attending more Shabbat dinners. Just make sure you bring a good bottle of Manischewitz. Now I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, you're telling me Jewish people are rich and generous? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because it's true. They believe in giving back to the community, and not just like throwing a couple bucks in the collection plate. We're talking building hospitals, funding scholarships, endowing wings of museums. Basically, they're like the Avengers of philanthropy, except instead of fighting bad guys, they're fighting poverty, ignorance, and probably also eating bagels. They call it tzedakah, which I'm pretty sure is Hebrew for being an awesome human being. It's like a mitzvah, but with even more good karma. And it's not just about the money. They're out there volunteering their time, mentoring young people, and probably teaching them the secrets of compound interest. Hey, maybe that's the real secret to their success. They understand that the more you give, the more you get back. Or maybe it's just that whole compound interest thing. Either way, I'm taking notes. All right, folks, let's talk financial literacy. You know, that thing most people pretend to understand when they nod along to Suze Orman on TV? They understand things like compound interest. It's like magic, but with money. You put a little money in the bank, it makes more money, and then that money makes even more money. It's like a money-making machine that never stops. It's the closest thing to a get-rich-quick scheme that actually works. So, if you want to be financially savvy, start learning about compound interest. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Now, financial literacy isn't just about understanding fancy terms like compound interest. It's also about making smart investments early on. You see, Jewish people, they don't mess around when it comes to investing. They're like that friend who bought Apple stock back when it was still in Steve Jobs' garage. They know that the early bird catches the worm, especially when it comes to the stock market. And let's be honest, they're probably not investing in Beanie Babies or pet rocks. They're putting their money in solid investments like real estate, businesses, and maybe even a few pieces of art that will be worth a fortune someday. So, take a page from the Jewish playbook and start thinking about your financial future. Invest wisely, save diligently, and who knows, maybe one day you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, or at least smiling politely as you deposit a hefty check. All right, let's talk long-term planning. You know, that thing you're supposed to do, but instead just end up scrolling through Instagram for hours? Well, Jewish people, they've got long-term planning down to a science. They're not just thinking about next week or next year, they're thinking about the next generation and the generation after that. They've got plans within plans, folks. It's like Inception, but with money and family legacies. They're probably sitting on a 100-year plan right now, complete with detailed instructions on how to maintain their wealth, educate their descendants, and ensure the continued success of their family for generations to come. I mean, have you ever met a Jewish person who didn't have a 5-year plan? But hey, it's not all about money, folks. Long-term planning is also about family, community, and leaving a positive impact on the world. And let's be real, Jewish people have been doing that for centuries. They value education, hard work, and giving back to those in need. They understand the importance of building a strong foundation for future generations, and they're not afraid to put in the work to make it happen. So what can we learn from our Jewish friends about long-term planning? Well, for starters, put down the phone and start thinking about your future. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What steps can you take today to create a better tomorrow for yourself and your loved ones? It's never too early to start planning for the future. So there you have it, folks. 15 hilarious reasons why Jewish people are richer. From their savvy saving habits to their knack for long-term planning, these guys and gals have got it figured out. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, are you saying all Jewish people are rich? No, of course not. That's ridiculous. But what I am saying is that they have a long and storied history of financial success, and there's a lot we can all learn from them. So the next time you're feeling financially challenged, just remember the wisdom of our Jewish friends. Save your pennies, invest wisely, and always have a plan. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one writing a book about the 15 hilarious reasons why so rich. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more financially irresponsible comedy. And remember, if you ever need a loan, you know who to call. Just kidding, don't call anyone because debt is scary. Good night, everybody.